Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. I hope everybody is doing well tonight. It is Monday, so I hope everybody had a good weekend. And of course, as soon as I start the show, my computer poops out. Anyway, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I think I'm still recovering from my trip out west. We took last week, 4 days driving on the road. But anyway, and I'm not feeling 100%. I think I might have a little stomach bug, but we'll make it. We will push through. And it's hot. It's been hot here again. Here in Arkansas, it's gotten hot again. But anyway, while I'm waiting for the computer to come back up, we will see who is here. And for anybody new here, this is our Missing Person Monday live stream. We do this every Monday. We've been going state by state for the last few months, and tonight we're doing Montana. So I have, I think, 6 cases, missing person cases from Montana to share with you guys tonight. So if it is your first time here, welcome. If you're watching on replay, welcome. Thank you so much. We love our replay crew. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask and talk at the same time. You guys know how that goes. We love our replay crew. Welcome to chat. I'm fixing to see who all's here. Welcome to lurkers. We love our lurkers. Welcome, welcome. All right, see if this is going to work. Miss Paula is here. She was first in. Hello, Paula. And I want to say before I forget, congratulations to Miss Paula on her channel. Please do check her out and subscribe if you haven't already. But she made it to 1,000 subscribers. She may be over that by now, or more than 1,000 by now. I know she posted earlier, I think earlier today or sometime last night, yesterday, that she had reached 1,000 subscribers. So excellent job, Miss Paula. You deserve it. Like I said, if you have not checked out Miss Paula, please, please do. She's a ray of sunshine. She'll brighten your day right up. Skits is here. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you here. She was second in. Let's say I'm blue. She forgot she was blue. Yep, you're blue. You got the wrench. Miss Lisa Joe was third in. Hello, hello, Lisa Joe. Good to see you. Yes, please, everybody. Once again, everything's running slow as usual. There we go. Yes, please hit the like button. Absolutely. It helps the algorithm. I'm going to try to use my words tonight. Helps the algorithm get this important information out to as many people as possible. That is the whole goal, is to get this information out. There's my friend Mustang. Hello, hello. Welcome. Good to see you always. Welcome, GP. Good to see you. Sorry. There you are. I'm trying to do it through my computer, and as usual, it's running slow. Good to see you. Welcome. Chris is here. Always good to see Chris here. I hope you're doing well, sir. Thank you, thank you. Chris said it's good to see my face. Yeah, I think I finally, because I did a live stream, Saturday night, we did just kind of a weird amalgamation, talked about a lot of different things. But yeah, StreamYard, so I didn't use my camera for that live stream because StreamYard changed up its dashboard and I didn't have time to get everything figured out, set up the way I want it, but I got everything right tonight, I guess, or as right as it ever is around here. So I am back on camera. Chris says he is excited that GP, if it'll come up, come on, I might have to go to the phone. Hold on, I might have to go back and forth between the phone. Trying to find your comment. Oh, there it is. It finally came up. Chris said he's excited to see GP here. Yes, I am too. So, forgive me. If GP, have you been here before? I know that name is familiar. But if you haven't been here before, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome. Good to have you here either way. All right. So, all right, I'm trying to get everything going here. There we go. All right, so I think I'm caught up. So, oh, you're welcome. GP said you're both too sweet. Absolutely. This is an excellent community we have here. Absolutely. This is for anybody new here. This is a safe space. This is a drama-free channel. Any drama that happens to wander in gets taken care of very quickly. So, you know, it's a safe place to share, have nice adult, respectful conversations with each other, and keep everything respectful. So, now there's Arctic. Hey, buddy, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yep, GP says I had been here before. I thought so. I thought I remembered that name. Well, thank you for coming back. Absolutely. Good to see Arctic here. Good to see everybody here. All right, so let me mark there. Let me bring my slideshow up, make sure everything is working properly, or like I said, as properly as it works around here. All right, so like I said, tonight we are going to be talking about missing persons in Montana. Like I said, I think I have 6 cases to go over tonight. Mostly cold cases, so there might be a few that are 2000s, but that then again, early 2000s is still considered a cold case. But anyway, Mustang says, thank goodness for something. Drama-free channel, yes. Drama-free channel, yes. Any drama, like I say, any drama that may stumble its way in here gets dealt with. I do that too. Arctic says, got to watching funny TikToks and got sidetracked. And for anybody, I've got TikTok now. I haven't had it for very long, and I have not posted not one video of my own, but I share, of course, all the missing persons and true crime stuff. And then also share funny people videos, funny animal videos, music stuff, you know. But yeah, I'm bad about getting on because I spend more time on like YouTube than anything else. So I watch YouTube shorts, just go through and I get sidetracked doing that too. So I hear what you're saying. All right. It's hot in here. It's hot, and then I felt the air just came on, but it is hot. Okay, get down to business. So first, we have James Otis Anderson. James has been missing since June 13th, 1982 from Townsend, Montana. He is a white male. He was 54 years old at the time he went missing. He'll be 97 years old as of 2025. At the time he went missing, he was 5 foot 9 inches tall, 190 pounds, with gray hair and brown eyes. He had previously fractured his jaw and dislocated his hip. He did wear glasses, but they were left behind, and his nickname is Jim. And it doesn't give any last known clothing. So James was last seen driving east on Highway 12 in Townsend, Montana. He was going towards White Sulphur Springs at around 8 a.m. on June 13th, 1982. Excuse me. He was an Episcopal priest, and later on the day of his disappearance, he failed to show up for services at St. John's Episcopal Church. So after that, he's obviously never been seen or heard from again. He left his residence in order. There was no indication that he had planned to leave for any extended period of time. The sermon that he was supposed to preach that day was laid out on his desk, and his toothbrush and razor were still in the bathroom. Some items were missing and have never been recovered, including his address book, a treasured Afghan, which is like a blanket or a throw, and a firearm. Police did monitor his credit cards, bank accounts, and social security number. They were never used after he was last seen. So he was separated from his wife at the time of his disappearance. He had filed for divorce a few months earlier before he went missing. They had 2 children, and they were fighting over custody of them. Now, whether or not that has anything to do with his disappearance, we don't know. In addition to his divorce, he was having problems at his job, and he may have been facing termination from his position in the church. So in this article that I found is the only one I could find regarding his case. A little bit of a touchy subject concerning the church, but so we'll be respectful, and you know, I'll kind of won't go into all of it, but just anything that might possibly pertain to him. So his estranged wife stated that he had been acting strange and seemed just kind of distant and didn't communicate very much, which is, she said that was one of the reasons for their separation and eventual divorce. So in October of 1982, James's silver 1975 Volkswagen Sirocco, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, was found abandoned in a heavily wooded area of White's Gulch in the Big Belt Mountains, which is northeast of Townsend. It says the car appeared to have been deliberately hidden, and investigators think that whoever left it there was familiar with the surrounding area. It was not visible from the road, the trail, or from the air. So it was definitely hidden for a purpose, either by James or by somebody else. So James's wife said that he was not a good driver, and she does not think that he could have driven his car to that location on his own. She doesn't believe that he either walked away on purpose or took his own life because he, quote, adored his children, and he would not have wanted to hurt them in that way. So a search did turn up several of his belongings, including his prayer book, an Old Testament Bible, a cap, his eyeglasses, his clerical collar, and those were found about half a mile away from where the vehicle was found. They were found on a ridge overlooking Townsend Canyon, Ferry Lake, and the surrounding area. So police could find no connection between James's case, and there was another unsolved case from an unsolved disappearance from 1984 of Father John Kerrigan. So I think that name sounded really familiar to me when I was reading this. So I think I might have read something or watched something about Father Kerrigan. So he was a Roman Catholic priest who went missing from Ronan, Montana. Has never been found. So he and James had worked together in White Sulphur Springs, Montana, at the same time earlier in their clerical careers, and they were friends. So 6 months prior to James's disappearance, before their separation, James had dropped his wife's name from his life insurance, and he changed. Apparently, she had been the beneficiary, but he changed it to his employer, which was the St. John's Episcopal Church. So the church collected on the policy when he was declared legally deceased 7 years after his disappearance. So that's so it might have had to do with the separation and the divorce and the problems that they were having. So obviously his case remains unsolved. So if anybody has any information regarding this case, they can contact the Broadwater County Sheriff's Office at 406-266-3441. So this could, obviously we don't know exactly what happened. Possibilities, because I said his belongings were found on some kind of ridge. He could have taken his own life. It could have been an accident. He could have just been out there walking around and fell off, over the side of a ridge or whatever, or it could be foul play. So just let me know. As always, let me know in chat or if you're watching the replay, in the comments, your thoughts on what could have happened. So let me check comments right quick, and then I will get to the article. See if anybody's snuck in on me. Yep, I see some people have. Let me get down to where I was at really quickly. There we go. Oh, Lisa Jo made it back. Welcome back, Lisa Jo. Glad you made it back. Junior is here. Hello, Junior. Always good to have Junior here. It's past your bedtime, sir. No, it's good to have you here always. Chris says he wasn't even born when James went missing. So he went missing 82. I was 11 years old. Yep, a little over 11 years old. I know some other people snuck in. Miss Louise is here. Hello, hello. Welcome. Good to have you here. Miss Miranda is here. Hello, my dear. Once again, my computer's being slow. I promise Miranda's here. Just can't get her up on the screen. There she is. Hello, Miranda. Always good to see you, my dear. I know I saw somebody else. Yep, Miss PJ. Miss PJ is here. Miss PJ is here. Absolutely, always good to see Miss PJ. She says, yes, welcome all. Please hit the like button. Absolutely. Once again, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications for all when I go live videos, etc., etc. Thank you so much, Miss PJ. Please check out Miss PJ. She does excellent work on her channel. Let's see. So what do you guys think about this case so far? Thank you, Arctic. There is Miss PJ's link to her channel. If it'll come up. There it is. And Miss Paula. Once again, congratulations to Miss Paula for reaching 1,000 subscribers. Well deserved. Once again, I'm going to have to go back to my phone. Everything's quit working again on the computer. There it is. Finally came up. Paula's opinion, she's thinking it was an accident. That's possible. I thought the same thing. Absolutely. Unnamed True Crime is back. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you here, ma'am. Always good to see when people come back. Don't get scared away. Good to have you here. Yeah, Arctic says, if that church has a cemetery, it might be worth checking out. Just saying. Absolutely. Absolutely. Miss PJ says her brain hurts. I know that feeling. Says my brain hurts, so I was doing a lot of brain work before I came in. Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe I've had a headache today. I think maybe it was all the brain work I did last night because last night and yesterday, I didn't work yesterday. I went back to work today. So yesterday I got everything ready for uh, tonight for this live stream, and then I think I managed to finally get I think three or four videos recorded and recorded, edited, which I don't do a lot of editing, and uploaded and scheduled to throughout the week, so I wouldn't have to I like to try to when I have time get all that done at one time, so I don't have to worry about it and everything uploads and new content is up. But yeah, so I think maybe my headache today is delayed too much brain work from last night. Because last night when I was trying, just as an aside, and then we'll get back to business, I swear the weather hates me, hates us. As soon as I started trying to get my videos recorded, it started storming. Storms kept coming through. So of course my already bad farm signal, when it storms, it's even worse. So I think I had to start one video I was recording. I had to do it about 3 times before I finally got it done. But anyway, got everything done. Anyway, enough of my belly aching. Let's see. Yes, definitely congrats to Miss Paula. Absolutely. Well deserved. Thank you, thank you. There is Unnamed True Crimes linked to their channel. Thank you so much. Okay, I think I'm caught up. I should have had the article loading. Hopefully it won't take long for articles to load tonight. Go back over here and mark where I left off at. Okay. And of course it's taking its sweet time to come up. And they changed these buttons. Okay. Making sure I wasn't going to throw myself out of the studio here. Just waiting for the article to load. Of course. Just checking comments on the phone while I'm waiting. Oh, there it is. All right. Miss Avery, thank you. I was trying to think of Unnamed True Crimes name. Avery, Miss Avery. Thank you. Like I said, my brain is not working. All right. Yes, if you're talking about Mr. Anderson here, yes, he is still missing. Yep. Yep. Oh, somebody moved to New Hampshire. Uh-oh. Yes, very sad. All these cases are absolutely sad. All right. All right, so let's get to the article. Get a quick drink before I start reading. It's kind of lengthy, but I'll just kind of skim over the oh, what is that? Okay, there we go. So this it's called The Vanishing of a Priest. It's flatheadbeacon.com. All the links, as always, to all the articles that I use are in the description box. So feel free to, if you would like to go read them yourself, if you would like to. This was published in March of 2021. Wait, let me make sure this was the right. Now, this is about Father Kerrigan. I know it mentioned. Well, maybe I won't be reading it. I thought this was about. One minute. Maybe it mentioned. Well, crud. Okay, so it does just mention, I thought this whole article was about James, but it was mostly about Father Kerrigan. So we won't go into everything. Things that, but I think they do mention that maybe because Father Kerrigan was kicked out, I believe, of he was an Episcopal priest, and he was alleged that he did some inappropriate things. When I'm sure you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. Two little ones. So I'm just going to read the part where it kind of mentions James. So it says, moreover, rumors circulated that a serial offender of priests was on the hunt, and that Kerrigan's fate in Ronan was connected to the disappearance of an Episcopal priest in Townsend 2 years earlier, Reverend James Otis Anderson. So maybe Kerrigan was a Catholic priest. Anyway. So James Anderson was last seen driving east on Highway 12 toward White Sulphur Springs on the morning of June 13th, 1982. Once again, on the day of his disappearance, he too failed to show up for service at his church. The two priests were said to be friends and had worked together in White Sulphur Springs at the time. That might be the only thing that was mentioned. Sorry, just skimming through to see if there's anything else. One minute. I thought they so apparently there were a lot of priests that went missing around there. You had Father Rivera. One, I'm getting the guy that I'm assuming that was all. I think what they were getting at with Anderson is they thought, because I think what they were alluding to in this article to James is that because in the Charlie Project information it mentioned that he was having problems at his job at the church and that he might be facing termination. I think they were maybe alluding to the fact that he may have been suspected of the same thing that Father Kerrigan. Now, nothing is that I could find ever was proven or anything of that nature, but there may have been speculation that that was why he may have been facing termination from a St. John's Episcopal. Was people thought he allegedly might have done some inappropriate things, and that they speculate and that they said that might be the reason that he might have left of his own accord and disappeared. So it might. I know I'm a little disjointed right now, but I'm just making sure that there wasn't anything else about yeah, let's just go through the allegations. Okay, so anyway, but yeah, so I think that was kind of what they were alluding to when they mentioned, aside from the fact that they were friends, they both disappeared in the same area, along with this other Father Rivera, apparently, that maybe they thought that James might have allegedly done some inappropriate things. Like I said, nothing was ever proven or anything. He was never, as far as I know, charged with anything. So we'll just leave that at that. Right, let me get caught up one more time. All right, there's where I was. Miss Avery said, was asking Arctic, have you heard of missing Ava Grace? I think I've heard of. I'll have to look at that. Nancy Grace covered her tonight. Quite interesting. I probably read, yeah, Arctic said it sounds familiar. Oh, really? So Miss Casey has moved to I forgot what state you live in, Miss PJ. Hmm. Yeah, and then she's supposed to be supposedly like a, not to get sidetracked by Casey Anthony, but some kind of advocate now for all nonsense, in my opinion. Oh goodness. Oh, and she's dating an ex-cop. Or to say, well, at least it's an ex-cop and not a current one. Yep, I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. I agree, Mustang. There's Michelle C. Hello, my dear. Good to see you. Always good to see Michelle. Yeah, exactly. Arctic says, hope it'll come up. A priest or church worker accused of inappropriate behavior, surely not. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what that article, which when I skimmed over it, I thought it had more to do with James's case, but yeah, that's mostly what that article was. So it's a very interesting article, actually. But it gives more information about Father Kerrigan's disappearance. So, like I said, if you want to read it, the link is in the description. But yeah, absolutely. I like watching her. Michelle says Lawyer Lee is covering a new trial that is mind blowing. Highly recommend everyone listen to it. I remember which one is it. I think it's one that I have looked into because I was going to watch her live or her videos or live streams about it. But now I can't remember which one it is. I've got too many cases in my head. All right. So that is, once again, nothing's working as usual. Okay, so that was James. So next we have Barbara Assunta Bolick. I should have had our information going. Hopefully it won't take long to load. Oh, it didn't. Okay. All right. So Barbara has been missing since July 18th, 2007 from Corvallis, Montana. She's a white female. She was 55 years old when she went missing. Oh, hold on for a minute. I gotta wipe the sweat off. It's so hot in here tonight. So she was 55 years old when she went missing. She'll be 73 years old as of 2025. At the time she went missing, she was 5 feet tall, 115 pounds, with red hair and brown eyes. She wore glasses and her ears were pierced. She was last seen wearing a pastel colored shirt and tan shorts. So Barbara was last seen in Corvallis on July 18th, 2007. She was on a hike. So this one is either aliens took her or she just disappeared. One of those that, disappeared into thin air, even though we know that can't happen. Or it could. Who knows, depending on what you believe. So it's very weird. So she was hiking on a trail. She was on a hiking trip with a visiting friend at the time. They were going to Bear Creek Overlook in the Bitterroot Mountains. Her friend stated that he stopped to look at a scenic view between 11:30 a.m., somewhere between 11:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. Barbara was just about 20 or 30 feet away from him, well within eyesight at the time. And when he turned around, so apparently he turned around and then turned back around about a minute later and she was gone. Now, this is according to him. So she just disappeared. She was carrying a black day pack at the time of her disappearance. It did contain a firearm. It said that she is an experienced hiker. She was very familiar with the area. So authorities announced that they were seeking 2 other hikers as possible witnesses in Barbara's disappearance. There were two men in their early 20s. They were accompanied by a black mixed breed dog with floppy ears and white markings. They were seen hiking in the area around the same time that Barbara went missing. One of them is described as dark skinned with black hair. The other had a medium complexion and reddish hair. And I think I put on the slide they did a sketch of the dark hair, dark skinned, dark haired male. So that is the smaller picture there. They said both men were clean cut. They each had an athletic build. They may have been driving a light colored older model Chevy S10 SUV, almost said SVU, with Missoula County, Montana license plates. And they wanted to emphasize that neither of these men is considered a suspect in the case, but possible witnesses who investigators believe could provide some valuable information. An extensive search of the area turned up no sign of Barbara. The friend who accompanied her on the hike did cooperate with investigators. She is being called a suspect in her case. She is not believed to have left of her own accord because she left all of her belongings, including her dog, her cat, her billfold, ID, passport. Everything was left behind. And Barbara's husband stated that she was afraid of heights and she would not have gone near the edge of a precipice or a cliff or anything like that, or left the hiking trail, and her case remains unsolved. So that, you see what I mean now when I say it's either aliens beamed her up somewhere or she just vanished into thin air. I mean, it didn't say how. I mean, they were in the mountains, so you would think there were cliffs or ridges that, you would think that they would have found her if she had fallen. But then again, depending on if it had like the deep crevices, sometimes it's somebody just falls and then it's like they're vanishing in thin air and they're never found. So this, like I said, this one is very, very strange. But as always, let me know what you guys think. So it's just one of those. These are the ones that drive me crazy because usually I try to, when I read all the information I can about a case and the circumstances of the disappearance, I think, well, okay, it could have been this, could have been this, could have been that. On this one, I'm like, I have no clue. The only logical thing, I joke about the aliens and the vanishing in thin air, but the only logical thing would be she did fall somewhere and they just, it was a tiny crevice or a hole or something and they just haven't found her yet, haven't found any remains. Or the guy that was with her did something to her, but I mean, there were other people that were close by. The article I'm going to read, there were other people that were close by, so you would think that they would have seen something or heard something if something nefarious happened. So it drives me nuts. Anyway, so let me find the article. Hopefully it won't take it long to come up. Get a drink. Check on comments right quick while I'm waiting for the article to come up. Okay, there's where I was at. PJ said, oops, business. Oh yeah, I've heard about that one. Come on, there. Michelle said, talking about the case that Lawyer Lee is covering, is about a dentist that allegedly poisoned his wife. He had new charges of trying to hire someone to pew the investigator. Yep, I've read just the bits and pieces about that. Yep. Miss Lisa Joe says her uncle lives in the Bitterroot Mountains. So you may not know, so do the Bitterroot Mountains, because I know some mountains have what they call, these skinny crevices that somebody could fall into, and it's usually when somebody falls into a crevice like that, as opposed to just falling down the side of a mountain or side of a ridge where they're, in plain sight. Or do you know if there are any like crevices that she could have fallen into and they just didn't find her, or couldn't find her. That's the only logical, or the only thing that I can think of why she hasn't been found. So yes, I agree. GP says I will never go on trails or hiking without several people around me. Yep. Hey, patriotism. How are you doing, friend? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Oh, yeah. Said, bears and mountain lions. See, I thought about that too, but then again, the gentleman that was with her was what, 20 to 30 feet. So that's, unless there were a lot of trees between them within eyesight. I mean, in my thinking, you would have heard something if it. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. Couldn't have been a bear attack or a mountain lion, but you would have think they would have found something, without getting too graphic. Found something, some evidence of an animal attack. As Lisa Jo says, there's also wolves. Let's get caught up, and I'll see if my article's loaded. Yep. GP says people don't just disappear and somebody heard or saw. Yeah. Yeah, but he said the guy that was with us. So this is his story, and he's not, supposedly not considered a suspect. Sorry, I'm sweating. Said that he turned around for a minute and turned back around, and she was gone. Didn't hear anything. Didn't see anything. So I just, like I said, these are the kind of cases that just drive me batty. There's Miss Dandy. If she'll come out, there she is. Hello, hello. Welcome, my love. Good to see you. Oh, Junior says, come on, Junior, cooperate. There you go. Oh my goodness. Said, hold on, I may be losing the computer. Junior says, I don't think she was ever there. But now there were other people there with her. So, I mean, then that saw her. So, unless, I mean, they could, but then again, they could all be, not telling the truth. Okay, so Miss Lisa Jo says she's not sure. I'm assuming you're talking about I was asking about the crevices. That's fine. Yeah, welcome back. Skits made it back. This is true. Lisa Jo says if she failed, then an animal could have dragged her off. That's true. That is true. Absolutely. Junior says the husband and the other people who were at the house before they supposedly went hiking. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, it makes sense. Absolutely. See, yep. Mustang says Bigfoot got her. Yeah. Aliens, Bigfoot, something. I mean, not, absolutely not making light of it, but yeah, I mean, it's just those, it drives me nuts. All right. Let me see if the article is loaded. Hopefully it is. Oh, come on. Still loading. Oh, jeez. I'm going to throw myself out of the... Let's see if I can get it to load. I'm reloading. Yes, beam me up, Scotty. Absolutely. I know. It just... Okay, so... I might have actually two articles about her, but... So this first one is from the Daily Mail, and yes, I know the Daily Mail is kind of sketch sometimes. I usually don't use a whole lot, but it does give some information, and they usually are correct in the basic information that they give. So this is from, oh come on, it's still loading. March of this year, actually, 2025. Once again, if it will load. Still loading. Come on. Oh my gosh, why is everything slow? Just checking your comments. Take the chance to wipe the sweat off my brow again while it's trying to load. Oh my goodness. And so Junior says no one saw her at the place she went missing. The only one who said she was there is the guy who said he was with her. Gotcha. Oh my goodness, this computer is killing me. Killing me. There we go. All right. Okay, we're back on track now. So once again, this is from the Daily Mail from March of this year. So a woman vanished without a trace after her hiking partner turned his back for 45 seconds. Barbara Bolick from Bitterroot, Montana, disappeared almost 18 years ago while on a hike with a friend near the Bear Creek Overlook Canyon. So maybe okay. So her disappearance is a mystery to this day. Her hiking partner, named Jim Ramaker, who was the last to see her on July 18, 2007, told police that she was there one moment and gone the next as he turned his back to take in the scenery. Although Jim is thought to be the last person to ever see her alive, police say he had no connection with her disappearance. Donna Biles, who is the cousin of Barbara's husband, Carl, was in town visiting that weekend, and it was Donna's 58-year-old boyfriend, Jim, who had joined her on the hike. So her husband's cousin, it's confusing. So Donna was Barbara's husband's cousin, and it was her boyfriend, Jim, who was hiking with Barbara when she disappeared. I think I got that right. Okay. So the plan was for Barbara, who was 55 at the time, Donna and Jim. So Donna and Jim were together, boyfriend and girlfriend, to go hiking on Barbara's favorite trail, which was a moderately challenging, about 2.5 mile trail, which was a 15-minute drive from her home. However, Donna said that she was too hungover to hike that morning, and she decided to stay home. Carl has stopped joining Barbara on hikes after suffering from a heart attack a few years previously. So Carl was the husband. I'm trying to keep all this straight. And everything just disappeared. Come on. You're killing me. Okay, there we go. So Donna was too hungover. She didn't. So she stayed at home. Carl has stopped hiking after he suffered a heart attack. So it left Barbara and Jim. So after 2 weeks of intensive searching and investigation, Ravalli County Sheriff Chris Hoffman said that Barbara Bolick's disappearance was, quote, a mystery, to say the least. Hoffman says, we are perplexed. We have combed the area in the vicinity of the disappearance very well. No trace at all has been found. We would like to verify, if we can, that Bolick was even on the mountain that day. So Junior has a valid point. Absolutely. So I'm getting rid of ads. Speaking to NBC Montana, the news historian and former news director Jim Harmon said, quote, they were only a short distance apart, yet in a few seconds, he looks back and she's not there. It's just amazing to me. How in the world did that happen? How could she not just have been a short distance down the hill? It's absolutely a mystery. A U.S. attorney for the District of Montana, Jesse Laslovich, told NBC Montana that the search was costly, but they are continuing their efforts to find Barbara. He said, you can imagine the apparatus that is involved when someone disappears. It's not only local and state authorities, but we also have search and rescue involved with some of these volunteer organizations. Some conspiracists believe that Barbara faked her death for whatever reason and ran away to start a new life. But her husband, Carl, said that she was very happy with their life together. She was taking pilot lessons and she was eager to get her pilot's license. Meanwhile, others thought that she was abducted by two men, and that may be the two men in the Charlie Project information that they said were witnesses. So others thought that she was abducted by two men who Jim said he saw on the trail. And so now I'm beginning to have a little questions about Jim. So Jim was the one that said, seeing about that he saw two other men on the trail. So Jim said he saw on the trail, but law enforcement attempted to locate them and no one came forward. Others questioned if she had been attacked by a wild animal, but Jim said that he didn't hear any screaming, while some claimed that she might have fallen suddenly, but her husband said that she was terrified of heights and would not have gone near the edge. So as somebody who is terrified of heights, I would definitely not go to the edge of anything. So despite the many theories, the extensive search was unable to find any trace of Barbara or her hiking gear, and no hiker has stumbled upon them to this day. Some people have accused Jim of harming Barbara, as he was the last person to see her alive. One theory is that something occurred before they ever arrived at the trail that day, which would explain why the search dogs never managed to pick up Barbara's scent. However, it is unclear what Jim's motive would have been, and due to his cooperation with law enforcement from the beginning, they did not consider him as a suspect. Carl, the husband, was so devastated by the disappearance of his beloved wife that he could not eat or sleep for weeks, and he lost 35 pounds in a few months. And then he passed away in 2021 at the age of 80. So a few years ago, Montana law enforcement sent out a new post asking for information. It said, do you have any information? Barbara Bolick was last seen near the Bear Creek overlook in the Bitterroot Mountains, west of Victor in Montana on Wednesday, July 18th, 2007. As of 2023, her current age will be 71. She is 5 foot tall, 115 pounds, Caucasian, brown eyes, red auburn hair, and pierced ears. She was last seen wearing a pastel-colored shirt, tan shorts, and had a black-colored backpack. She was hiking with a partner, and when they turned around, she was gone. No sign of her was found in the area, which was searched by SAR personnel, volunteers, and search dogs. So now I'm gonna have to revisit what Junior said about maybe she was never there to begin with. Absolutely. Not that I ever doubt anything that Junior says. He is a very smart person. But like I said, what motive would Jim have? Not saying that he doesn't have one or didn't have one, but we just don't know what it is. So now this makes me even more crazy because now oh goodness. Anyway, let me check your comments again. Get back down to where I was. Okay, there we are. Yep, so going back to what Junior said. No one saw her at the place she went missing. No. Who said she was there is the guy, Jim, who she was hiking with. Yep, absolutely majorly suspicious. Yep, now that I read that article again. Yeah, Danny says, that doesn't sound fishy at all. GP says, well, I just don't understand how people can go missing these days with all the technology, cameras, and I feel we are overpopulated. Yeah, these days, although it does happen, You know, of course, this was back in what, 80? No, this was 2007. So yeah, they had, but now out in where they were at hiking, I don't know how much, surveillance cameras or security cameras were around, but yeah. Yeah, you would think in this day and age with all the cameras everywhere and, you can be tracked with your phone or your phone can be tracked and it, it will be harder for people to go missing, but unfortunately they still do go missing. So Junior says this is an old story. I've watched a few videos about it. She was never there, in my opinion. Gotcha. Absolutely. Dandy says, I'm assuming you're talking about Jim. Says could be completely innocent, but smells like trout. Yeah. Yeah. So Donna, who was Jim's girlfriend and Barbara's husband's cousin, I think that's how it goes, had a hangover, so that's why, or that was the story. Had a hangover, so she stayed home, and then of course Carl, the husband, didn't hike anymore after his heart attack. So yeah, there's something afoot at the Circle K, in my opinion. Thank you very much once again. Absolutely. Yep. GP says, yeah, this smells really fishy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Dandy says anything can happen when you're hiking unless you're doing it in Kansas or Nebraska where it's flat. True. True, true. Yep. Or Texas or Oklahoma, because of course to get to, we went to Arizona last week, so of course we drove through just a little bit of Texas, like the Boot Hill top of Texas, and then or through Oklahoma and then through the Boot Hill of Texas. Good Lord. And I did most of the driving through all that area. Oh my Lord. Straight flat, just nothing but miles and miles of miles and miles. Anyway, but yeah, it's kind of hard to, fall anywhere flat. Absolutely. Um, yep. Arctic said the math ain't mathin'. Yep. There's True Crime with True Crime Talk with Frank Meister. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Definitely check out Frank Meister. Excellent, excellent channel. It is good to see you too, sir. Sorry if I seem a little. I think I'm still recovering from my cross country trip. That was the first road trip I've taken in probably about. I promise we're gonna get back to business. I can't talk business at hand, but yeah, that's the first road trip I've taken in probably 10 or 15 years, and I think I'm too old for these cross country road trips now. Wore me out. Anyway. So I'm still trying to get caught up, get back into the groove of things. So Junior says the niece and her boyfriend, so this is allegedly just Junior's opinion. I just had to put that in there just so people, just in case. Says the niece and her boyfriend helped the husband get rid of her. He was rich. So who was rich? Jim was rich or her husband was rich? Carl. Oh, so it was Carl's niece. And what Donna was that Donna? And Jim was her boyfriend. Helped the husband, so help Carl get rid of her. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So you saying Carl was rich or Jim was rich? I'm just trying to understand everything. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yep. Remember to do all the things. See, Dandy says, I'm terrified of heights, but I do get close-ish to an edge enough to be yeeted over if pushed. No, I don't get close to, no, I'm terrified of heights. Even though I have been one of the times I went to St. Louis, I did let them talk me into going up in the arch. It was very when you got up there, as long as I didn't look down, I was looking out over. It was very pretty, but yeah, never again. Never again going that high. Absolutely check out Mr. Arctic. Yep, Junior says that's the only thing that makes sense. I agree. I see your point, sir. That's true. I was talking about motive. What motive would Jim have, or anybody? Dandy says, do people need a motive, though? Some people are just evil. True. Unfortunately. There's Miss PJ's channel, Skits' channel. Thank you, everybody, for throwing channels in. Miss Paula. Yes, thank you to the mods. Absolutely wonderful. That is a good question. GP said, did she have a phone? That is a good question. Let me 1 second. It said that she had a day pack, or I guess I'm assuming it's kind of like a backpack. Let me go back to her. I know it said that she had a firearm with her, and let me see what else was, if it said what else was in the, hold on, let me find it. Just says she was carrying a black day pack at the time of her disappearance. It contained a .357 Magnum. I'm sure that there was other things in it. But it does not say anything about a phone. Now, she could have had one. But once again, up in that, depending on how remote that area was, if there was a good signal. That's a good question. Absolutely. So they've had, so smartphones technically came out in what, 2000? Sorry, I'm hot. It could have been when did the smartphones come out? The first iPhone, was it like 2010 or 11, or was it earlier? But I'm sure you could, well, I'm not sure. I'm assuming you could ping, can you ping like the old flip phones that we had before the smartphones came out? Could you trace those? I'm assuming you can, but I'm not sure. Okay, Junior says her husband said, once again, Carl, the husband said she didn't take it that day. Yes, absolutely. Check out Miss PJ's channel. Yeah, so very, very convenient that the husband said that she didn't take her phone that day. So now I'm getting into conspiracy mode here between what Junior mentioned, the niece, or whoever was the niece, and Jim, Donna and Jim and Carl. Oh my goodness. Yes, that is another horrible. So we had the awful tragedy with the fire, or the floods in Texas, and now we got these fires going on again, and at the Grand Canyon, the North Rim. Dandy says there's some good fires in Arizona and Colorado right now. It's raining ash. The North Rim of the Grand Canyon burned to a crisp. Yeah, they were talking about it on the national news. So a lot of one of the historic lodges there or something burned. Yeah, and even when we were in Arizona, because we went to pick up, me and my youngest brother went to pick up his son, my youngest nephew, in Payson, Arizona. And his grandma, he has been staying with his grandma for a little bit to visit with her. And she lives literally on the top of a mountain in Payson. And she's got a very nice house with a big deck. And we were out sitting on the deck, and we were trying to, look at the stars. And they were having fire. I don't know. They were having fires there in somewhere around Arizona, and you couldn't. It was so smoky and hazy, we couldn't hardly see anything. So, yeah, the fires are awful. Bunch of turn this off for a minute while I'm reading these comments. Okay, so Carl, the husband, had money. Gotcha. So So yeah, maybe I'm going conspiracy here. Turning on the conspiracy theory mode. GP says maybe her husband pushed her over the edge. Possible. Yep, that's me. Arctic says I can't even do glass elevators because I hate heights so bad. Yep. I think I've ridden in maybe one glass elevator in my life. GP says maybe her husband paid someone to have her pushed over the edge. Yep. Yeah, or the aliens got her. Yeah. Okay. So 2007 was the first iPhone. Yeah. So this was from 2007. I don't know if she had an iPhone or not. Yep. Okay. So Arctic says non-smartphones can be pinged. Oh yeah, Maura Murray. Yeah, Miss PJ said, well, in 04 you could ping Maura's phone. Yes, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a coincidence theorist. That's what we are. Yep. I know. I love to look in. That's my other hobby is looking into conspiracy theories. So Miss PJ says Motorola was the first company to produce a handheld mobile phone on April 3rd, 1973. Martin Cooper, a Motorola researcher and executive, made. Oh, I've seen video of that. Made the first mobile telephone call from a handheld subscriber. Excellent. Yep, absolutely suspicious. Yep, like I said, I'm entering into conspiracy territory on this one, and I don't usually do that. Dandy said everything on the North Rim burned. I actually cried over it. Really sad to lose that history. Yeah. Yep. See, and I've never. That's one. I want to go back out west on an actual, sightseeing trip. This was just a get over there and get back to pick up my nephew. We were in a hurry, but yeah, I would definitely want to get. I've never been out west. I want to get over there and go to all the, the Grand Canyon, all the national parks. But yeah, I've never been to the Grand Canyon. So definitely sad. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Oh, Junior says, doesn't take a genius to figure it out. The cops did a terrible job. Once again, not all cops, but once again, a cop not doing a good job. Okay. I think I'm caught up with comments. So I'll mark there and see who we have next. We have Daniel O'Neill Baker. Once again, I should have had it loading while I was reading the comments. All right, it came up. So Daniel has been missing since June 10th, 2021. So this one's only about 4 years. 4 years missing. I say only. One day is too long, but from Missoula, Montana. He is a white male. He was 44 years old when he went missing. He'll be 48 as of 2025. At the time he went missing, he was 5'9", 180 pounds, with graying brown hair, green eyes, and his nickname is Dan. I have a brother. My baby brother's name is Daniel. So Daniel was last seen in Missoula, Montana, in June, just as June of 2021. On June 8th, while he was riding his motorcycle, it developed a problem. It stopped running. He walked along Highway 200 until a passing motorist offered him a ride and dropped him off in Potomac, Montana. So his motorcycle and helmet were later found abandoned near Cully's, which is a bar and convenience store in Potomac. The motorcycle did have some minor damage, and the keys to it were inside the helmet. So apparently Daniel accidentally left his phone in the car that he had gotten a ride in. And on June 9th, he called his girlfriend to tell her this. He told her that he was okay. He had gotten a ride. And then on June 10th, he called her again. from a borrowed phone and said he was on his way to the Poverello Center in Missoula. So I don't know what the Poverello Center is. So he and his girlfriend were trying to arrange a ride home for him to Helena, Montana, so that he could attend his daughter's wedding in a few days. So then apparently he realized that he had lost his wallet. The girlfriend heard him ask people in the background if they had seen it, and then the call disconnected. So that's a little suspicious. The girlfriend later went to Missoula, but she could not find him, and he has never been seen or heard from again after that. So on June 11th, his wallet was found in the bushes near the University of Montana campus in Missoula. So I don't know how far away that is from where the phone call was, where he was asking people if he'd seen the wallet, and then the phone got disconnected. His driver's license was not in it, but there was an insurance card, which enabled the people who found it to contact his employer. So June 12th was the day of Daniel's daughter's wedding. He did not show up for the wedding, which is very uncharacteristic of his behavior. And on June 14th, he was reported missing. It says the circumstances of his disappearance are unclear, but his family is concerned for his safety, obviously. So if you have any information, you can call the Missoula Police Department at 406-552-6300. Let me get the article loading. I think I may have a couple of short articles on David. Or Daniel, excuse me, Daniel, not David. Still thinking about David from the other. And of course, it's going to take a minute, so I'll get caught up in comments again right quick. Miranda said her dad's name was Daniel. Yeah, my baby brother's name is Daniel. Yep. And then there's Echoes. His name is Brian. Echoes hasn't popped in tonight. I don't know what he's doing. He may be no. Okay, I'm trying. I think he's off on Mondays, but I'm not sure. Oh, Miranda says she's just sitting and chilling with her sweet puppy Finn. Oh. Yeah, Miranda says, where do all these people end up? It's scary. I know. I agree, ma'am. Let's see if it is. Oh, come on. It might load sometime tonight. There we go. It's trying. And this is from the Great Falls Tribune. Still loading. Come on. Still loading. Trying to. Yep, absolutely. GP says it's terrible that all these people are still actively missing. Absolutely. Oh, man. Threw me behind a paywall. Dadgummit. Now, when I brought this up the first time to use it, it did not throw me behind a paywall. Okay, so let me try the other article I had. All right, let me see if the other one, maybe it won't throw me behind a paywall. Yep, Ms. Paula agrees. Okay, this one didn't throw me behind a paywall. Okay. So this is from a website, montanarightnow.com. It's from November of 2023. Community members take to social media to find Dan Baker. A community in Missoula continues their search for one of their own. They say it's been more than 2 months since 45-year-old Dan Baker was last seen. Baker was allegedly last seen in the Missoula area, traveling towards the Helena area before his bike broke down and he had to hitch a ride. Says our team reached out to the Missoula Police Department for an update on their investigation into Baker's disappearance. Here's what they said. He was last seen on Thursday, June 10th at the Poverello Center near downtown Missoula. So maybe that's where he was when he was on the phone the last time with the girlfriend. She said she heard him asking people in the background if they had seen his wallet, and then the call got disconnected. So he was reported missing the following Monday, June 14th. So although they couldn't provide further details, Missoula police say the investigation into his disappearance is active. This comes as community members took this to social media, created a Facebook page in effort to spread the word on Baker's disappearance with the hashtag FindDanB. Says anyone with information on what happened to Dan or his recent whereabouts is encouraged to call Officer Bennett with the Missoula Police Department at 406-552-6300. You can also call the Find Dan Baker Anonymous hotline. Now, this was from 23, so I don't know if any of these are still active. According to the Missoula Police Department, there is a $5,000 reward. That it says, and again, we're still looking for more details on Baker's disappearance from investigating officials and those close to him. So that didn't give a whole lot of additional information. That just irritates me that other article, I think, talked to his girl, had an interview with his girlfriend, but of course, had a paywall. So, anyway, let's see. I have not. Now, Miranda asked if anybody had heard from Mr. Steve lately. I know a couple of weeks ago, he did pop into a live stream that I was doing and to another live stream. Somebody said, I think that's been a couple of weeks ago. I think he said when he popped in my live stream that he might be home by sometime in August. I think he said, and I don't know if he was being serious. He probably was. This is the time of year that he's usually out on the road working the cases. So hopefully he's getting some rest at some point. Yes, I agree. Paula says, never take a ride from a stranger. Absolutely. Yep. Dandy says, my ex-husband and I used to pick up many hitchhikers. Glad we weren't harmed. Yeah. See, I remember back in the day when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. Of course, I live in a very, very small town. I mean, everybody knew everybody. So, I mean, my grandmother would pick up anybody and everybody. And my grandpa was always like, don't be picking up hitchhikers. But we made it. So, but yeah, these days, it's not even just, don't pick up hitchhikers. It's if I'm home, even though I live, like I said, out in the sticks, kind of day or night. If I'm home, all my doors are locked. If I'm in the car working or just driving, going somewhere, as soon as I pull into where I'm going, the doors are locked while I'm getting my stuff ready to go do whatever I'm doing. Yeah, everything's locked because you never know when somebody could just jump in the car and something happens. Oh my goodness. Junior says, I hitchhiked across Canada and down to Mexico and back to Michigan in the 70s. Bless your heart, sir. What kind of trouble did you get into? I bet that's a story right there. I would love to hear the story about that. Yeah. Dandy says, Mr. Steve is out dragging Mrs. Steve through the woods by her ankles so he can exercise and she can relax. Yeah, I wonder if he's done any experiments with her lately. All right, so we're caught up. Once again, I should have had the next article loading. So next we have, this is a very Jermain Charlo. This one has got widespread publicity, but I've not done any. We may have talked about her a little bit, but I've never done really a deep dive or anything as far as live streams or videos on Jermain, but I just wanted to include her. So this is Jermain Austin Charlo. She has been missing since June 16th, 2018, once again from Missoula, Montana. She is a Native American female. She was 23 years old at the time she went missing. She will be 30 as of 2025. At the time she went missing, she was 5'9", 130 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. Her nickname is Liz, and she may use the last name Morrigo or Morrigue or Morrigal. I don't know how you pronounce it. Morigeau. Her ears are pierced. She has a tattoo of a flower on the center of her chest. And I think that is the one. I think I included it on the slide. And a tattoo of a deer on her left shoulder blade. She is an enrolled member of the Confederate, Salish, and Kootenai tribes of the Flathead Reservation. She was last seen wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt with a brown Under Armour logo, a white t-shirt, jeans, cowboy boots with square toes, and a blue baseball cap with a logo of 3 trees and it had a tan bill on it. So Jermain was last seen in Missoula, Montana on June 16, 2018. Late the night before, she went to the Badlander, Golden Rose, and Dark Horse bars and I believe there is surveillance. They do have surveillance or security footage of her at outside the bar. So between midnight and 1 a.m. on June 16th, she was dropped off on 5th Street between Russell and Orange Streets. She was last seen walking east towards the Orange Street Food Farm. So later that morning, between 2 a.m. and 10 a.m., in an area of she has never been seen or heard from again, is considered missing under suspicious circumstances. She has not used social media since her disappearance, which is uncharacteristic of her. On the night of her disappearance, she supposedly had plans to meet a friend named Cassidy, but authorities have been unable to find any person known to Jermain who had that name. It says she often went to Missoula to visit her boyfriend, but he was out of state the weekend that so on the night of her disappearance, a man was seen two days later threw the phone away at mile marker 94 on Highway 12 in Idaho. So authorities searched this area, no phone. Of course, they didn't find any phone. There was a history of DV in their relationship. In 2013, he pleaded guilty to partner family member assault on her and admitted that he had struck her 3 times with his fist. They broke up in 2017, and they got into a custody battle over their sons. The judge decided the boys would live with the France and gave Jermain visitation. So after Jermain's disappearance, authorities seized firearms from DeFrance's property, He was convicted of unlawful possession of firearms, sentenced to 21 months in prison, but his conviction was overturned on appeal in December of 2024. He has not been identified as a suspect in Jermain's case, and neither has her boyfriend. Authorities believe, unfortunately, that Jermain is no longer alive. At the time of her disappearance, she lived on the Flathead Reservation, which is about 40 miles from Missoula. Obviously, her case is unsolved. So anyone with information should call the Missoula Police Department at 406-552-6300. So I know who, in my mind, who the number one person on my suspect person of interest list would be. But I'm sure y'all know a lot about, like I said, I know the basics about this case, but Miranda says, I canceled most of my YouTube memberships, but kept you and Mr. Steve. Oh, thank you. You and Mr. Steve, of course. Getting away from the meanness, trash, and drama of other channels. Best thing for my mental health. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can relate. Absolutely. Yep. Dandy says, she is stunning. What a beautiful woman. I hope she is found. Absolutely. Let me get the article loading while I'm reading the comments. One is fairly lengthy, but we'll get through it. Miranda says, a cousin of my mom's lives in Missoula, and she visited there last year. Says it's beautiful out there. GP says, I remember breaking down 12 miles from Atlanta, Georgia. Don't want to be, yeah, Atlanta's, from what I hear, is not the safest place. And backpack for babies to the closest gas station that I can find. And I had people that tried to give me a ride along the highway. No way. Absolutely. It's probably my signal, Miranda. Miranda says, is she breaking up? Sound wasn't good. It's probably my farm signal. Yeah, it's not the best. I apologize. Yep. Yeah, it's my farm signal. Yeah, Chris said it. My farm signal. Absolutely. Yeah, the cow patty. Yeah, Dandy calls it the cow patty signal. I apologize, guys. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Junior. That's sweet. Hey, your honorary members are absolutely. I can't afford a pack of ramen. Yeah. You are too, Miranda. You're a sweetheart. All right. So let me see if my cow patty signal, if it is loaded yet. Okay, so I need a drink before I read here. This is from CBSNews.com. I think it's from their 48 Hours series. It was was updated on June 8th, 2025, but I'm sure it was written probably a couple years ago. Okay. So it says the investigation into Montana mom Jermain Charlo's disappearance. So when Jermain Charlo's cell phone went silent in June 2018, her family suspected something was wrong. Valinda Morgue, who is Jermain's aunt, told 48 Hours she was very active on social media. She posted about everything. So for her to not be on social media, then I knew something was not right. And when Charlo didn't respond to calls or texts, Morgue, sick with worry, reported her missing to the Missoula Police Department, and 6 years later, she still has not been found. During that time, the Missoula Police Department and other agencies have been hard at work. So what have investigators discovered about what may have happened to Charlo, and will she ever be found? So the story begins on the night that she was last seen. So June 15th, 2018, last night out at the Badlander Bar. On the night that she disappeared, Jermain was at the Badlander Bar in Missoula, Montana around midnight. She's captured in the alley behind the bar on security camera footage, excerpts, and it gives, so it does have just still shots. The link is in the description if you want to look, if you haven't seen this article. So it does show her standing between two men talking or something. So detectives spoke to multiple people who were in the alley, including the man who was standing behind her, which is Michael DeFrance, her ex-boyfriend, and then the father of her two children. Charlo and DeFrance had plans together that night, though it's not clear why they met up or what they discussed. So just before midnight on June 15th, Charlo and DeFrance walked away in the alley behind the Badlander. So where did they go next? When investigators asked Michael DeFrance that question, he told them the same thing that he told Jermain's family when they asked, that he and Jermain had gotten into his truck, and then he had dropped her off at the Orange Street Food Farm, which is a supermarket, which is about a 5-minute drive from the Badlander. But in the subsequent police interview, he changed his story. He said that he had dropped her off not at the Orange Street Food Farm itself, but just in a residential area 8 blocks west of the store. He said that he had dropped her off there because she told him she was staying with a friend named Cassidy who lived nearby. So detectives obviously found the change in DeFrance's story interesting. They also were unable to find anyone in Charlo's life named Cassidy, and it turned out that Jermain didn't really intend to stay at a friend's place that night, but at the apartment of her then boyfriend, Jacob, who did live in the area. He was out of town, but he had told her that she could stay at his place. Jermain's family suspects that she did not want to tell DeFrance about her relationship with Jacob and may have lied to him about Cassidy, which would make sense. So shortly before 1 a.m. that night, Jermain's boyfriend Jacob attempted to call her cell. She never picked up the phone. Instead, it rang several times before going to voicemail. Jacob told police he suspected that somebody purposely ended the call. Though detectives never considered Jacob a suspect because he was out of state that night, they did talk to him further to see what else he might know. He told them that the day before Jermain disappeared, she told him, quote, that Michael had been yelling at her, asking if she was dating anyone and wanted to get back together with her. Everybody get your red flags out, obviously. So DeFrance has also never been named a suspect in Jermain's disappearance. On June 17th of 2018, Jermain's mother reported her missing to the Tribal Police Department on the Flathead Reservation, but because Jermain went missing in Missoula, it would have to be reported to the Missoula PD. So that's when you have these native indigenous that live on tribal land, but they disappear. Becomes a whole thing with jurisdiction. So family called Missoula police, but learned that the report had to be made at the station in person, not over the phone. So on June 20th, Valinda, Charlo's aunt, made the drive to Missoula and spoke with an officer to file an official report. So late June 2018, the community started the searches. So after Jermain disappeared, her family took matters into their own hands. They contacted local organization, the Lifeguard Group, for help. Volunteers came out in support to search for Jermain. This was just the first of many searches that the community would hold over the months and years to come. So Lowell Hawk-Halter, president and co-founder of the Lifeguard Group, said, we've told the family that we are not going to stop no matter what, and we will search for Jermain as if she's alive until we find her. So June 26, 2018, the Missoula Police Department's investigation began the day that her aunt reported her niece missing. However, the first detective assigned only worked the case briefly before he had scheduled time off. It wasn't until June 26, which was 10 days after Jermain's disappearance, that Detective Guy Baker was assigned to the case, and he would lead the investigation for the next 6 years, determined to find Charlo. He told 48 Hours, "I'm very much committed to finding her. I want to bring justice to Jermain and hold accountable who is responsible." So June 27th, 2018, the cell phone data. On June 27th, detectives obtained data linked to Jermain's cell phone. The data indicated that between the hours of 2 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the early morning hours of June 16th, after she disappeared, her cell was pinging off a cell tower in the area known as Avaro Hill. So Avaro Hill is a rugged, heavily forested area north of Missoula, and it is where DeFrance, the ex-boyfriend, was living at the time. DeFrance told investigators that he had dropped Jermain off in Missoula around 1 a.m. So why was her phone pinging north hours later? So once again, he changed his story. Missoula County Deputy Attorney Brittany Williams said in a subsequent interview, DeFrance provided a statement that she left her cell phone and he attempted to go through her cell phone. He was unable to get into it. Then he told authorities that 2 days later, on June 18th, while Jermain's family was desperately calling law enforcement for help, that he discarded her phone. He just threw it out the window in Idaho at mile marker 94 on Highway 12. Of course, law enforcement searched. They didn't find it. Baker says the phone has never been recovered. Jermain's family wonders why DeFrance would throw Jermain's phone away. Baker declined to comment on a possible motive for disposing of the phone. On June 27th, Michael DeFrance's mother speaks to the police. On the same day that the cell phone data was obtained, officers from the Missoula County Sheriff's Office went to DeFrance's property, spoke with his mother, Jennifer. According to police documents, Jennifer told an officer that Jermain had never been to the residence. She also reported that, quote, Michael was still in love with Jermain and wanted to get back together with her. So summer 2018, over the remainder of the summer, detectives investigated the idea that Jermain may have been a victim of human trafficking. Detective Baker said, "We had some information early on that there might have been some people in Missoula from out of state that were trying to purchase somebody, a human. And I was thinking there was a connection there." Williams described the trafficking situation in the state. He says, "I think people have an idea that Montana is rural and undeveloped. We don't have major crimes that occur here," she said. "But the fact of the matter is we have one of the largest interstates that runs through our state right here through Missoula, Montana. There are people who can be swept away in an instant." And unfortunately, that is true. So eventually, investigators were able to rule out the idea that Jermain was a victim of trafficking. Williams told 48 Hours in 2024, "I think that we have enough evidence through this investigation that lends itself to believe that something else has happened to her." So on August 2nd, 2018, there was a warrant filed to search Michael DeFrance's property. An officer with the Missoula County Sheriff's Department filed a search warrant application on August 2nd, 2018 that stated the officer had reason to believe that a crime had been committed in Missoula. The application asked a judge to approve a search of DeFrance's property on Avaro Hill. The officer hoped to, quote, visually observe and simultaneously video record by ground or air at any time of the day or night the outside of the premises, including all grounds. It also asked for thermal imaging of the property. So documents show that the search warrant application was approved by a judge, but officers declined to comment on anything they may have found. They do confirm that, of course, Jermain has not been found. Once again, Michael DeFrance has never been named a suspect or charged with anything in relation to her disappearance. October 2nd, 2018, police conducted another search of DeFrance's property. And at this point, Jermain had been missing for more than 3 months. The officers found and seized firearms, including the ones that has pictured. He did have a prior conviction that at the time prohibited him from owning firearms. So that's when he pleaded guilty. In May of 2013, he pleaded guilty to partner or family member assault against Jermain. According to a 2013 police report, he admitted to hitting Jermain with an open hand, then twice more with his fist. Jermain reported that DeFrance had shoved her into the hood of his van, punched her in the ear, the temple, the cheekbone, spit in her face. He's just a sack of a POS, in my opinion. So when DeFrance pleaded guilty and was sentenced for this incident in 2013, part of his sentence at the time was a loss of his firearm rights, so that's why they confiscated his guns. 2019 and 2021, the trail goes cold. In October 2018, Jermain's family and the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes put her information on a billboard. They hoped that someone would drive by and recognize her. For 6 years, her gaze has haunted drivers as they travel down that road. So Detective Baker would not tell 48 Hours much about his investigation as it is ongoing, and many of the documents are sealed, but he insists the case never truly went cold. He has been consistently searching for Jermain over the years, and the investigation has never stopped, and he is committed to finding her. He says, I guess when I see that billboard, I'm frustrated. I've never worked a case like this before. We've tried to uncover and turn over every rock possible. So Jermain's family obviously still hopes that one day she might be found, though they no longer believe that she is alive. For Jermain's aunt Danny, justice for Jermain means, quote, bringing her home and letting her rest with our family up on the hill. Her other aunt, Morgue, says, I will never stop looking for her. I've met so many families that have had a loved one disappear, and I want other families to know that it is okay to keep pushing. It is okay to keep their name out there. Absolutely. That's why we do this right here. We have to fight for justice for our loved ones. So once again, if you have any information about Jermain's disappearance, you can contact the Missoula police detective Guy Baker, or it could be somebody different now, but it's 406-552-6284. So yeah, I'm definitely Mr. DeFrance is on top of my list, in my unprofessional opinion. Let's see if I had anything else. I think I just had a short, because they did do, and I think I've watched it. They did, 48. The show 48 Hours did an episode on TV about this case. So this is missing woman Jermain Charlo's family was pleased with the national spotlight on her case. The CBS program 48 Hours featured an hour-long segment on the case on October 12th, bringing significant attention to the missing and murdered Indigenous persons movement. So whoever wrote this article said, I had the opportunity to sit down with Jermain's aunt, Valinda Underwood, to get her reaction to the show. She said, I never thought it would get this far, but I'm happy that it has, and she knows she is with us all the time. Valinda and her family collaborated with the producers of 48 Hours for over a year to share Jermain's story. Jermain was first reported missing on June 16, 2018, and now her story has reached a nationwide audience. I think they did an amazing job. I think the fact that it's hit this huge national level, 48 Hours airs nationally, but once it gets on YouTube, it's on a worldwide basis. The producers work closely with Jermain's family, Missoula Police Detective Guy Baker, KPAX TV, and others to reveal never before seen surveillance footage captured outside the Badlander bar the night of June 15th. In the video, Jermain is seen alongside her former boyfriend and the father of her 2 children, Michael DeFrance. Valinda hopes the right people will see the program and come forward with information, as there is no publicly named suspect in Jermain's disappearance. Seeing the footage of how many people were in that alleyway and the people walking by, somebody had to have seen something. Absolutely. My hope is that maybe somebody from out of town was here to visit a friend and saw something that they didn't think was important at the time. I'm hoping one of those people comes forward to help us get that one small piece of the puzzle that we are missing. The program also shone a light on the missing and murdered indigenous women movement and its trademark red handprint. MMIW isn't something that just started. It's happened since colonization, and we've all been kept so quiet about it. I think the world is just finally realizing what Native American women go through. This is according to her Aunt Valinda. The handprint to me signifies that I will no longer be silent about anything, and if I have to, I will be Jermain's voice, as she is not here to speak for herself. Once again, I can't say it too many times. Anyone with information about Jermain Charlo's disappearance is asked to contact Missoula PD at 406-396-3217. So it is absolutely vital to, and I try to share as many MMIP, MMIW cases as I can on here, on live streams, on videos that I do, because it absolutely does not get MMIP, MMIW does not get the attention, the coverage that it needs and deserves. All right, let me get into your comments. Junior says he had talking about his cross-country trek. I had a great time and awesome memories. I took a lot of pictures. It's great to look back at how young I was. Oh, man. Junior, I might have to have you on here one night to hear that story. I would love to hear it. What? Who said PJ was causing trouble? Miss PJ never causes trouble. Mustang says, I used to hitchhike when I was young. I wouldn't do it now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Miss PJ doing the work. She says, I've been doing a lot of short videos at the moment and making flyers. Summer gets busy. I will be going live soon. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Miss PJ does excellent, excellent work. If you haven't visited and subbed to her channel, what are you doing with your life? Speaking of, I got that from Mom, Mind of Monsters. I hope she's doing okay. I haven't seen her lately. I know she may be just taking some time off. Everybody, we all need time off. But I hope she is doing all right. Miranda says, going back to, was it this case? Yeah, Daniel's case. We were talking about hitchhiking. Miranda says, I wouldn't recommend hitchhiking. I picked up a hitchhiker once because I recognized him from a college class we had together, but it was stupid. Thank you, Miss PJ. I love your channel too. Absolutely. Are you talking about Jermaine's case? Junior says, I listened to a couple of podcasts about this case. Yeah, Jermaine's case, from what I recall, yeah, it definitely got, thankfully, some national coverage, at least with 48 Hours doing their episode. There's Miss Barbara. Hey, Ladybug, how are you doing? It's good to see you. I was thinking about you. Always good to see. Please check out somebody's probably already thrown in the link, Timmy's Legacy. Please do check that out. Junior says Crime Junkie did a podcast and video about this case. She thinks there might be a serial offender in the area. She's not the only missing woman in the area. Interesting. So Crime Junkie, I think I've watched Crime Junkie before. I'll have to go look that up to watch that. I haven't watched that one. Absolutely. Thank you for the green hearts. Thank you, Junior. He says he's about out of battery and it's his bedtime. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Junior. Thank you for being here, sir. We love Junior around here. Junior's a good man. All right. Let me get so that was, I think that is all. Let me check. Make sure. Get the next one loading. Could take a minute. All right. So next we're going to have Paul Philip Batson. Yeah, I haven't seen her. Miss Paula says she misses my. Yeah, she hasn't gone live or done anything lately. Now she just might be taking, obviously with this things that we cover, you have to take a break sometimes. Absolutely, she may be just taking a break, relaxing for the summer. But yeah, all right. All right, so let me turn my camera back on. This is Paul Philip Batson. He's been missing since April 29th, 2018 from Bozeman, Montana. He is a white male. He was 45 years old. When he went missing, he would be 52 years old as of 2025. At the time he went missing, he was 6'2", 175 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a dark-colored button-down shirt and jeans. So Paul was last seen in Bozeman on April 29, 2018. A postal service worker from Batavia, Illinois. So he was a postal service worker from Batavia, Illinois. He had just visited his 3 grown sons at Colorado, and he was in Montana exploring the possibility of transferring to Butte or Bozeman when he disappeared. At around 4 p.m. on April 29th, he contacted his girlfriend and said he was in the Bozeman Public Library and had a meeting with the Bozeman Postal Service the next day. That same afternoon, his cell phone stopped pinging. It was either turned off or the battery died, although he carried a phone charger in his car. He never showed up for his meeting in Bozeman, and his girlfriend reported him missing. His gray 2016 Dodge Charger was found on the roadside in Reed Point, Montana at around 7 p.m. on April 30th. So his travel bag was in the car. The car was described as being in extremely clean condition, but his wallet and cell phone were missing. No one in the area reported seeing a person matching his description, like walking or anywhere in that area. He is a U.S. Navy veteran who had worked as a mail carrier with the Postal Service since 1994. He is considered missing under suspicious circumstances, and his case remains unsolved. So if you have any information, you can call the Bozeman Police Department at 406-582-2000 or the Stillwater County Sheriff's Office at 406-322-5326. So another one that just vanished into thin air, although we know that can't happen. It doesn't happen. Let me see what I could find on him. I think I found just 2 or 3 just short articles on him. See how long it takes them to load. Hey, Days Romero, welcome back. Good to have you here. Now you have that. So you got to quit singing like that. You'll have that song going through my head. Good to have you here. Uh, yeah, Days Diminium. Oh, all right. Let me see if it's loaded yet. All right. So this is from bnd.com. It's from May of 2018. Illinois man's disappearance in Montana is suspicious, police say. So a 45-year-old Batavia man remained missing on Friday afternoon in Montana under suspicious circumstances, police said. Paul Batson was in Montana looking for employment, the Stillwater County Sheriff's Office in Montana said. His car was found in Reed Point. Now, I don't know how far away that is from where he was last seen. In Montana on Sunday night, his sister, Jennifer Batson of Belvedere, told the Daily Herald that he sent a text to his girlfriend in Illinois at about 4 p.m. on Sunday. After that, he has not been heard from. His sister said, "My parents are quite distraught, obviously." Batson works as a postal carrier in Geneva and was in Montana to explore a job with the post office there. He has grown children in Colorado who he visited. Once again, he was 6 feet 2 inches tall, brown eyes and hair. Anyone with information, call the Stillwater County Sheriff's Office at 406-322-5326. That wasn't really a whole lot of other information. Let's see what else I had. Okay, so web sleuths, I had that marked. What did I mark that for? So apparently they at some point they did do searches. Sheriff's Police in Montana plan to search for a Batavia man who's missing under suspicious circumstances. Okay, so there's just some clips from some articles that were on Web Sleuths. Searchers in the Report area found no leads Friday on the location of an Illinois man who was last heard from Sunday. His sister said he has never disappeared before. She said his children are desperate to find him. My parents are quite distraught. Friday's search continued into the afternoon and included the use of a jet boat and swiftwater search and rescue technicians to search the Yellowstone River. Stillwater County Search and Rescue helped with the river search. An area was also searched with dogs. This is an ongoing investigation. We're following up on leads. Continue to ask the public for information. Just seeing if there's any additional information or statements from family members or law enforcement. So I think that was all that I had that I was going to read on Web Sleuths. Okay, so I think this is an interview with his sister. See how long it takes to come up. All right. Of course, it's taking its time loading as always. Oh, come on. It might load, it might not. I may just have to move on to But I really wanted this one because it was an interview with his sister. Romero says, and especially mail carriers didn't earn as much as they even did in the military. He was Navy, so probably at McKinney. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. It's being slow again. Oh, don't tell me it can't be reached. Romero says, and without outgoing into law enforcement, most Navy vets are left to fend on their own without special ops. Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of veterans have trouble adjusting after they retire or leave the military. Oh man. Well, it's not loading. I'll come back to. We're gonna do. I think I have one more. And then I'll see if I can get this or other article to load. But this is Brittany Ann Ford and her. I believe it was her 2-year-old, or not even 2-year-old son. Both disappeared. So Brittany Ann Ford and her son Deklon disappeared on, or was last seen on May 17th, 2015 in Hardin, Montana. Sorry, I forgot to turn my camera back on. Brittany's a white female, 28 years old when she went missing. She'll be 38 years old as of 2025. At the time she went missing, she was 5'4", 160 to 170 pounds. And I think I forgot, I was going to put a picture of Deklon on there and I forgot. It may let me screen share. Anyway, Brittany was 5'4", 160 to 170 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. She has a tattoo of the word Zion, Z-I-O-N, on the back of her neck. No description of clothing. It says that she may be suffering from mental illness. She does need medication, which she does not have with her. And Deklon, let me see if it'll come up. He's 6 months old. 6 months old. He is a biracial black, white male, 6 months old. He will be 10 years old as of 2025. Male, brown hair, brown eyes. Right, let me go back to. So Brittany and her infant son Deklon originally disappeared from Columbus, Ohio. They were traveling in a white 2007 Nissan Versa with Georgia license plate. They were last known to be in the Hardin, Montana area. When Deklon was born, Brittany was living with Deklon's father in Georgia. In mid-April of 2015, she called the police at around 3:30 a.m. and claimed that Deklon's father was abusing him. The police responded to the home and advised Brittany to take the baby and stay elsewhere for the night. She agreed to go to a hotel. Instead, she traveled to Ohio, where her mother lived. Brittany contacted her mother while en route to Ohio. She said the government was after her and that she had to get away. So that may have been the mental illness coming in. When she arrived, she accused her stepfather of abusing her younger sister. So just, I forgot to say, it's on the crawler, but just trigger warning for just the nature of the case. So she accused her stepfather of abusing her younger sister. Brittany's mother and brother thought that she was suffering from some kind of mental illness. They took her to the hospital. She was admitted to the psychiatric ward of the local hospital. So Deklon's father went to Ohio and tried to visit her, but she refused to see him. On April 19th, after 3 days in the hospital, Brittany was released. She went to stay with her brother. A few days later, when her brother woke up, Brittany and Deklon were both gone. She said she was going out to get some food. She never returned. Her family reported her missing on May 7th. On May 14th, a police officer in Indiana helped Brittany change a tire. On May 16th, Brittany called her brother from Iowa and asked for $10,000. On May 17th, her car was found abandoned on the side of the highway between Billings, Montana, and Sheridan, Wyoming. So all of her belongings, including her medication and Deklon's car seat, were still inside of the car. There has been no indication of Brittany or Deklon's whereabouts since her car was found abandoned. The circumstances of their disappearance are unclear, and Columbus, Ohio police are investigating. So if you have any information, you can call the Columbus Police Department. I can't talk tonight. At 614-645-4545. So, just my opinion, this may be. So she had allegations of abuse against Deklon from his father. This might possibly, it's just speculation, thinking on my part, voluntary disappearance. She just took the baby and left. Or it could be something nefarious, but let me see what I had on her. Well, apparently I didn't have anything. Let me see if it had any different information on Deklon's. I think it's all the same information. Yeah, it's the same information. I thought I had. Because it has an age progression. Let me see if it will let me screen share. God, okay. StreamYard's changed their. Oh, first I got to take this down. Hold on. All right, let's see if it works. Maybe not. Man, I wish it was screen share because it had the age progression to 8 years old for Deklon. I don't see anything on screen. I don't know if y'all could either, but would not let me share the screen. All right, I think that was the last one I had. Okay, let me get caught up in comments right quick. Excellent. Miss Paula says, I'm going to do a small live after the show if my Wi-Fi on my computer doesn't kick me off. Excellent. I will definitely tune into you. I encourage anybody and everybody to tune into Miss Paula's live stream. Absolutely. Romero says Montana has a really high success rate in finding people if you go missing there without any trace, generally pre-planned unless homicide. Yeah, when I was reading about this case, I just kind of got just from the information that I was able to find, because all I have access to is what's on Google, search engines. That maybe she just voluntarily, if it was true that Deklon's father was, there's DV or abuse going on, that she just felt like that, she just had to take the baby and go. I mean, but that's just my opinion. Feel free to let me know in chat or comments if you're watching a replay, what your thoughts are. But regardless, I hope both she and little Deklon are alive and well somewhere, living their best life. Absolutely. And I think maybe, because I did come across some articles, I think maybe the police might be thinking along that lines too, because I think they had something I found, I can't remember, it was one of the law enforcement websites kind of had like a parental kidnapping kind of thing for her. So I don't know if that's what they're thinking or, along those lines. Just got to hit the subscribe button, Romero. Good night, Miss Barb. I hope I didn't miss her. Thank you for being here, ma'am. Uh, let's see. Romero says she probably went to meet someone. It wasn't what she expected. Possible. Thank you, Mustang. Thank you. There it is. Thank you for being here. Always a pleasure to have you here. Yeah, we're fixing to get out of here. I said I'm tired. I'm still recovering from my trip. All right. So, does anybody have anything else? And we will get off of here and we will go check out Miss Paula if she can get her. Miss Paula, I hope you can get your Wi-Fi to work better than mine does. But you probably have proper Wi-Fi. I just go through the Wi-Fi hotspot on my phone out here in the sticks. Alrighty. So let me make sure. Yep, that was the last one I had. All right, so I have probably won't be able to go. I might go live, maybe. Trying to think of what the schedule is. Maybe Thursday night, either Thursday night at around the same time, 8:30ish Central Time, or if not, I'm not sure if we're doing. This Friday should be our family game night, but I don't know. With things kind of got mixed up when we had to take our trip, but so either Thursday night we may do just a regular, 8:30 or so live stream, or Friday night we could do a late night, do like a Dave out on the prowl live, late night live, midnight live, something of that nature. But I'll let you guys know. Please do. I do have videos. One should upload Wednesday. I think I have one uploading Friday and one uploading Saturday. So be on the lookout for all the videos. Once again, make sure you're subscribed, have your notification bell set to all, so you'll be notified when the videos do upload or are made available. They're already uploaded. They're scheduled. And for whenever I go live, I try to pre-schedule all my lives, so you have I try to pre-schedule all my lives, which I maybe at least once a week I do a live, this live, Missing Person Monday, and then usually every other Friday we'll do a True Crime After Dark or a fun non-true crime live. But anyway, so until either Thursday or Friday, hopefully everybody have a good rest of your week. Excuse me, let me get a multitask here. Have a good rest of your week. Please hit the like button once again. Leave a comment if you're watching replay. Thank you to everybody who was in chat. Thank you to all my members, subscribers, to everybody. Be careful out there. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We're all we have to take care of is each other. And to kind of lighten up the mood a little bit, before we go watch Miss Paula, I'm going to leave you with my fur babies, like I've been doing. And I will see you guys soon.